They range from the smallest crop duster ever adapted for the job to the largest commercial freighter ever converted into one. They operate across 3 continents, flown by militaries, civilians, and private contractors. Each one answers a different problem. What you're about to see is the anatomy of how the sky became a front line against fire. 6 aircraft, 6 different philosophies. AIR Tractor AT-802F, the Air Tractor AT-802F. Fire Boss started life as a crop duster. It carries a little over 3,000 liters, about 800 gallons, in a belly tank. That's a fraction of what any heavy tanker hauls, and that limitation is exactly where the advantage lives. It takes off from short runways, operates in rough terrain, and when fitted with amphibious floats, scoops water straight from lakes and reservoirs in seconds. This is the initial attack aircraft. The one that arrives before the fire becomes a headline. In many countries, including Brazil through private operators, the Fire Boss is the only economically viable option for covering vast territory. Operating it costs a fraction of what a heavy tanker costs. When it works, the call ends before it becomes a crisis. Canadair CL-415. The Canadair CL-415 is the most symbolic aircraft in modern aerial firefighting for one technical reason. It wasn't adapted for the job, it was designed for it. Flying boat hull, turboprops tuned for slow flight over water, and a scooping system that completely changes the logic of fighting fire from the air. When the fire is near any body of water at least 2 meters deep, the pilot doesn't have to return to base to reload. He descends, skims the surface at around 130 kilometers per hour, and in 12 seconds fills the internal tanks with 6 tons of water. He climbs, drops over the flames, and returns to the same lake, then repeats. The result is an operational cycle no other platform can match. In a single day, a well-positioned CL-415 can deliver almost 700,000 liters of water onto the fire zone. It operates in waves up to 2 meters high, scoops salt water without corroding the internal structure, and mixes foam or retardant on board depending on what's burning. In 2022, de Havilland Canada launched the successor, the DHC-515 Firefighter. Same formula, modern avionics, and a precision drop system that allows multiple drops in even tighter sequence. First delivery isn't expected before 2028. Until then, it's the old icon still holding up nearly the entire amphibious firefighting fleet worldwide. Beriev Be-200. If you want to see how far amphibious engineering has been pushed, look at the Beriev Be-200. This is not a conventional aircraft. It's the only jet-powered amphibious water bomber currently in operation anywhere in the world. 2 turbofan engines mounted on top of the fuselage. Cruise speed of 700 kilometers per hour. Capacity of 12 tons of water per sortie. Nearly double what the Canadair family carries. But the story of the B-200 today is no longer about engineering. In August 2021, a Russian Navy B-200 crashed during a firefighting operation in Turkey. 8 crew members were killed. In March 2022, the aircraft's European certification was revoked. In March 2024, the manufacturing plant in Taganrog was hit by a Ukrainian drone strike. Roughly 10 airworthy B-200s remain in the world, operated by Russia, Algeria, and Azerbaijan. No Western operator flies the type today. The B-200 is proof that the best engineering, without market access, becomes a museum piece before its time. Technically, it's spectacular. Geopolitically, it's isolated. C-130 Hercules. When the contracted civilian fleet runs out of capacity, the military steps in. That's where the C-130 MAFFS comes in. The acronym, Modular Airborne Firefighting System, describes exactly what it is. A roll-on module installed inside a standard Hercules cargo aircraft. The conversion takes a matter of hours. The system releases about 11,000 liters of retardant in under 5 seconds through the rear ramp, laying down a containment line hundreds of meters long. In the United States, these C-130s are operated by the Air National Guard, activated by the Forest Service when demand exceeds contracted capacity. It's the bridge between national defense and civil protection, and it's more sophisticated than it looks. MAFFS isn't a permanent airframe. It's a capability that gets installed and removed depending on the season. Without it, the cargo plane goes back to being a cargo plane. With it, it becomes a tanker in a single morning. DC-10 AIR tanker. Now we move up the scale. The DC-10 air tanker is, today, the largest firefighting aircraft in regular operation anywhere in the world. It carries roughly 36,000 liters, about 9,400 gallons, of retardant in external tanks mounted under the fuselage. Original capacity was higher, but it was reduced for operational reasons. A single pass from a DC-10 lays down a retardant line over a kilometer long. This is not an initial attack aircraft. It does not take off from just any runway. But when it shows up, the scale of the entire operation changes. This is the aircraft of the big fires, the ones that threaten entire communities, critical infrastructure, perimeters that have to be held no matter the cost. Every flight hour costs tens of thousands of dollars. And even so, in states like California and Oregon, it pays for itself in a single successful mission. The DC-10 is what's left of the dream of heavy aerial firefighting, after the biggest of them all left the stage, Boeing 747 Supertanker. The Boeing 747 Supertanker is the aircraft that defines the limit of what's ever been attempted. Converted from a Boeing 747-400 once flown by Japan Airlines, it was named Spirit of John Muir and certified by the FAA in September 2016. Certified capacity reached 19,200 gallons, nearly 73,000 liters in a single drop. It fought fires in Israel, in Chile, in Bolivia, and in California. Operating it cost up to $250,000 a day. In April 2021, the investor group ceased operations. The Supertanker was sold to National Airlines and converted back into a cargo aircraft. It still flies today, wearing the original red and white paint from the years it was fighting fire. In May 2026, the trade publication Aerial Fire magazine summed up the retirement in a single line. Bigger isn't always better. The future of aerial firefighting, according to the industry, lies in more diversified fleets, more agile, with tighter integration into ground operations. The Supertanker closed an era. These 6 aircraft cover what currently exists in fixed-wing aerial firefighting. Each one represents a choice between speed and volume, between cost and capacity, between flexibility and power. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you want to understand the 6 different types of fire trucks, click the video on screen. I'll see you there.